What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be starting episode 1 of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's finally time after being a fan of anime for over 10 years now. For some reason, I've never seen this show, which I've heard a lot of people regard as one of the greatest of all time. I don't know for what real reason I haven't seen this show, besides like maybe hearing spoilers over the years, but as far as that goes, I don't really remember anything I've heard about the show. Besides, everybody says that this is just phenomenal. So besides that, I say I have no real reason, except now is the time we're finally going to be able to get into it and see what all the fuss is about, all the hype is about. So when it comes to anime, I'm like pretty religiously a sub watcher. I can probably count the number of dubbed anime I've ever watched on like one, maybe two hands. Although that being said, I've heard the dub of this anime is actually really, really good. Still though, because this is being recorded before I even put up my opening reactions on YouTube, because my Patreon, which by the way, if you go check out my Patreon, which is the first link in the description, the Soul tier has the first episode already out and ready. So once you're done with this, if you want to head over to Patreon, the Soul tier episode 2 is already up and ready for you guys. The Ascended tier episode 3 is up as well. So I'm recording 3 episodes before anything goes up on YouTube. So because of that, I can't really ask if I should do sub or dub. I'm going to go with what I know, and we're going to start off watching the subtitle version. If for some reason there's a majority of people saying, hey man, I think dub is the way to go, then we can always switch that along the way. I've talked a lot about what I know about the show in the opening video, so I won't waste your time doing that again. Remember to go check out the Patreon. I would really, really appreciate it if you could support me. At the time of recording this, I don't have any patrons, so you could be one of the first. Because of copyright, the Patreon quality will actually be much higher than here on YouTube. So if you don't want the episodes to look like this and look a little bit more like this, then Patreon is the way to go for you. So without any further ado, let's start Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, episode 1. All right, here we go. Wow, is the 3D stuff already. It's cool. Roy Mustang. He looks kinda young, you know? Führer. Interesting. The Fullmetal Alchemist, Edward Elric. Interesting. Ow. Cool. Awesome. Good intro. So yeah, as I mentioned in the intro opening, the only characters' names that I ever really knew was Edward and Roy Mustang. So in the first 30 seconds, I get both their name drops, as well as what I can assume is his brother. From what I know, his name is Al. I'm assuming that's short for something. But yeah, so a couple interesting things already. I'm not going to spend too much time since it might explain itself. But Führer, the guy's name was Führer. Yeah, Führer Bradley. Interesting. So it's some sort of like German military ranking system. And based on like the architecture of things, and this might be me looking into it a little bit too much, but the architecture of like some of the buildings that I've seen in the openings, this might be a more European-based world, or this could be directly like taking place in like a European civilization, just by the way the architecture and the fact that Edward has blonde hair and stuff. Just might be some things I'm picking up on early. I'm sure that I'm not gonna spin my wheels too much. I'm gonna let the show do its own explaining. Oh man, so this does have some level of magic, as I suspected, or it might not be magic, I guess. Alchemy. I don't know if there's a difference. Wow. All right. Right. Wow, that's pretty awful. It's pretty terrible. Here we go. Let's see some action. A transmutation circle. Oh yeah, 2v1. It's gonna be tough, buddy. Interesting. It's because he has a metal arm, yeah? I see. Auto mail. Is he got... He's known, yeah. The Fullmetal Alchemist, Edward Elric. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I should have brought this up when I paused last time. I noticed they called him the Fullmetal Alchemist. For some reason, I never actually took the time to ask myself what the title of the show meant. I mean, the Brotherhood thing was obviously significant because they're brothers, Edward and Al. The Fullmetal Alchemist, I guess, just refers to the fact that he's got a metal arm. It might have something to do with the type of alchemy he uses too. I don't know. That's just speculation, but that's pretty cool. For some reason, I thought the show would begin with like the accident that happens between the two brothers, which is really the only thing I know about the show, is that something happens and the brothers lose, like he loses an arm and maybe like a leg or something, and then his brother, something happens and it turns him into armor. I don't know what the deal with his brother was, but I expected to start off with that, not the action scene, which is cool. I like it. It's already subverting my expectations, so I don't really see that as a bad thing at all. Episode 1, Fullmetal Alchemist. Alphonse. Okay. Yeah, he can't be. He doesn't look that old at all. He just gets mistaken for the Fullmetal Alchemist because he's the one that's made out of metal mostly. There's all that water on the ground. He could just freeze everything, yeah? Yeah, did we not think that could happen? It's a bit of an oversight, right? Yeah. Like, I think that one's more on the police, but I don't know. Isaac the Freezer. Okay. So alchemist is like almost like a profession sort of thing. Interesting. I can't tell how old Roy is supposed to be. Mass Hughes. Yeah, third time already.
Hughes. Oh. 用がないなら直ちに帰りたまえ。帰るさ。用が済んだらな。君たち、どうせ宿決まってないんだろ？だったらうちに来いよ。エリシアちゃん。
He seems like a pretty nice guy. Hopefully I'm not like terribly misled already. But I'm already starting to trust this guy. Oh.
エリシアちゃん、俺はエドワード・エルリック。こっちが弟のアルフォンス・エルリック。わかる？弟なの。
Got a bit of a complex there. Huh? Because he's not made out of metal. Because he's not a giant piece of armor. Probably. Middle of his alchemy training. I suspect that's a bit of a white lie, right? So what I think is going on so far is that Alphonse probably, because Edward lost his arm, at least his arm, that's what we can see. So I'm suspecting that Alphonse probably lost his entire body, or at least a good portion of him. Maybe like his, I don't know how it works. Can you lose your head in an alchemy accident? Like you can live without an arm, but could you lose something Like, is there like a chance that even like his spirit is just trapped? I don't know how this sort of thing works, but maybe his spirit is trapped within the armor. But regardless of that, they actually seem to be pretty like renowned, even if people don't know exactly who is who or what the Full Metal Alchemist looks like. People know about who the Full Metal Alchemist is. So I'm really interested to see where from the accident that they lost their bodies to, or parts of their bodies, to where they are now.
最近聞いた中では一番面白い冗談ですよ。氷結の錬金術師と私が手を組む。このグレンの錬金術師が
Crimson Alchemist.
共にブラッドレーを腐った軍部を打倒するのだ。お前もイシュバールでは見たはずだ。あの地獄を。ブラッドレーが私たちに何をさせたか知っているはずだ。だからお前は軍の高官どもを手にかけたんだろ
う。誤解しないでください。私はあなたみたいな高尚なことは考えていません。あいつらを殺したのは殺したかったからに過ぎませんよ。
Right.
残念だよ、キンブリー。本当に。
Kimberly, huh? Interesting. It never gave a close-up of what he actually looks like. Okay. I was gonna say, how did the Freezing Alchemist get into the prison to talk to a prisoner when he's a wanted fugitive himself? He just literally killed that guy. Got it. Okay, so why is he saying it's too bad when that the other guy's a killer when he just, I don't know, maybe he was okay. Maybe unfroze him. I don't know.
当ててみましょうか。あの二人のことを考えていたんでしょ？
国家錬金術師といえば世間からは軍の犬なんて呼ばれてる存在だ。あの年でそんなの昭和されてると思うとな。
So what I'm picking up on is they're more like mercenaries that the government hires.
兄さん、起きてる？グレイシアさんの騎手、お母さんのみたいだったね。
ああ、うまかったよ。
本当？それなら体を取り戻したら食べるものリストに加えなきゃ。
お、加えとけ、加えとけ。
It seems like he doesn't have his body at all. Like he doesn't even need to eat, maybe.
早く元の体に戻りたいね。
Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist.
Cool mid cards. Kind of like My Hero mid cards, showing off the characters.
事態は一刻の猶予もならない。必ず見つけ出せ。道路を封鎖し、あらゆる場所を探せ。見つけ次第射殺しても構わん。これは大戦闘令である。
Yeah, it's a very Germanic military system going on.
死傷者5名、本部に報告。
ひどい。水蒸気爆発だ。水は急激に温度を上げると爆発的に膨張する。
Isn't that a phreatic explosion?
水だからな。
That might not be it.
急ごう。奴を早く捕まえないと。
Frenetic? Phreatic? I don't... Maybe that's not with Steam. I thought it was, though.
連戦を交わすとはさすがですな、アイザック殿。その声、アームストロング。
Armstrong. I like the name. Big guy? Oh my god, I've seen this guy before. I've seen like pictures of him. So they all seem to control like a different element almost, like water, earth? Like, I don't want to call it earth, but...
水筒の水か。さっきあれ。
追いかけよう、兄さん。
行くぞ、エロリック兄弟。
Water seems like a really strong alchemy, considering high pressure water can cut through like almost anything. You know, seems pretty deadly.
炎の錬金術師。
残念だよ。かつての戦友と戦わねばならないと。
戦友、私に友などいない。イシュバールにいたのは腐りきった軍とその犬どもだ。
Yeah, water is everywhere too, especially in an industrial city. In pipes, infrastructure, it's everywhere. It's like a Pokemon battle.
逃げよったって無駄だよ。
逃げる必要ない。
Oh boy. Is this so? These are transmutation circles, yeah.
同時にこんな連星反応。
ありえない。まさかこれは
賢者の石。
Philosopher's Stone? Huh.
何？大気中の水分を。
エドワード・エルリック、軍の犬、国家錬金術師よ。お前はこの国が何をしようとしているのか知っているのか。
知るか。そんなことより
知れば私のやろうとしていることがわかるはずだ。
知らねえっつってんだろ。
Interesting. So there seems to be some sort of like more nuanced subplot going on here with the background of what Freezing is trying to do. I'm just calling him Freezing because he's the Freezing Alchemist. I didn't catch his like proper name. But it seems to me that Edward and his brother Al are trying to maybe earn money or do some, they're in this for some specific gain, probably nothing too deep, but they're working as like a sort of state mercenary alchemist. What I'm suspecting is going to happen is that at some point there might be a darker, and this again kind of goes back to the whole Führer and Germanic thing, there might be a bit of a darker side to this military. Edward and his brother are probably going to try and figure it out and then have to go on sort of a double purpose journey of recovering their bodies and fighting against what is the greater evil. But that being said, I'm already seeing a theme of this Freezing and the guy he was talking to, Kimberly, in the prison. They are killers. Like he has killed many people here. I'm already getting the idea that Freezing has a sort of end justifies the means purpose, right? Like it's okay to kill people that are maybe police officers or part of the military, as long as he feels like he's fighting for a greater purpose, which is a pretty common theme in anime that I kind of don't agree with. I know it's a big theme in Attack on Titan, which is one of my favorite shows, but it kind of goes back to the whole you can't fight fire with fire sort of thing. If you're doing wrong to prevent wrong, I mean, who's really in the right at that point, you know? So I don't know. We're just gonna have to see where it goes. So does Al not use alchemy? He just kind of fights with his body, you know? If you want to call it that.
おいあんた賢者の石持ってんだろ。
何の話だ。
言わねえんなら力ずくで。
わかんねえこと言ってる場合かよ。
Seems pretty strong. I wonder if there's like a limit to how much water you can control at once. That is a lot. Oh, he didn't do that. I don't think. Armstrong didn't do that. He's barricading them in. I'm surprised. This is no small-time villain. Usually they'll introduce the series with more of a tame villain, you know what I mean? Okay, Al does use alchemy. Cool. I like that. I like that he's not just a brawler. Ooh. Does he have a head? Nope. Oh. Oh wow, I was actually... I promise I didn't know that. That was just a lucky guess. The taboo. Human transmutation. Interesting. Jeez.
今地獄へ一歩踏み出したぜ。
So maybe I'm thinking maybe they sacrifice their bodies for alchemy power. I'm not really sure what the circles are for just yet, or like what the actual purpose of them are. They obviously gained something for the sacrifice of their bodies, unless there was some sort of thing that went wrong. Well, obviously something went wrong, but you know what I mean.
忘れているぞ。人体の 70% が何でできているか。
Wow, use the blood. That's pretty cool.
にはわからないのだ。この国の姿が。
Well, Al can totally take him out, right? He can't do anything to Al with, because Al's not made up of water.
兄さん。
あれ、あいつを追うぞ。舐めたまで。
Damn.
しやがって。
This kid's tough, though. Really tough. Oh, man. This is just the high-ranking military leader, just wandering the alleyways. This black and white perspective is really cool, too. Black, white, and red, I mean. Bradley is gonna own him, I can tell. Bradley is not a big deal for nothing. That's it. Yeah. Done for. Oh yeah. All right. Is it bad to say Armstrong's already my favorite character? Then there's this shot of this guy closing his eyes. He opened his eyes whenever the circle went off in the first place. Not sure who that is.
結局賢者の石かどうかもわからずじまいだったね。
ああ、軍の調査を待つしかないな。
The Philosopher's Stone. We still haven't gotten any info on what that is. I get like weird Purry Prisoner from One Punch Man vibes from him. Like a lot. I love him. He's great. Is that it? Oh, not quite yet. All red light. I'm sure this is a very wholesome and good character. What the hell is going on here? Whole Dracula castle. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't scream even evil villain lair. All right, that's it for episode 1, huh? I'm gonna check out the ending here because I haven't seen it yet. Oh yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. I'm trying to see how many characters I recognize already. I know there's a couple. I saw that weird-looking gluttony guy, or I shouldn't say. I don't know what it is. All right, awesome. So that was episode 1 of Fullmetal Alchemist. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw. So I covered quite a bit through my pauses of the episode. One thing I did want to bring up was that obviously does seem to be some sort of deeper subplot and nuances to the underbelly of the government here. I have a feeling that Edward and Alphonse have a bit of a naivety when it comes to what the government might actually be doing, but I don't want to be quick to call the characters naive since I don't really know any of the characters yet after only 1 episode, so I'm going to kind of leave the more moral and ethical stuff out of this first episode because, like I said, I don't have enough context or anything to really judge anybody as of yet or to even analyze them fairly, because I would be totally way off base if I try to make any assumptions this far in. There's actually quite a bit of an information drop in this episode as well. We learned that the sort of, I don't want to call it magic, but that's just like the generic term you can use. The sort of power system that they're using is called alchemy. It seems to be somewhat element based, as Isaac the Freezing had to do with controlling and manipulating water and the temperature of water. I didn't really quite get what Edward or Alphonse used, or even Armstrong, what sort of element he was using. Roy was fire, but then the guy in prison named Kimberly was the flame alchemist. I don't know really what the difference is. I know in like Demon Slayer, there's supposed to be a difference between fire and flame when it comes to their element system. So maybe it's something similar like that. I don't really know. I'm sure they'll explain it. One thing I kind of have a hunch on early on is that this Kimberly guy in prison is probably going to be a bit of a problem, because they already established first things the first that he's not a good guy. He said he killed people for the fun of it. Whether that's the truth or not, we're just going to kind of assume that he's telling the truth for now. And the other reason I say that is because when Isaac died, you saw some sort of little ball or red little bead or something roll off and sort of like break, evaporate or whatever. And Kimberly had some sort of way that he knew that happened. And usually characters that have that sort of like omniscient like knowledge and awareness of what's going around them, they tend to be pretty intense, you know. So I have a feeling Kimberly is probably going to be coming back, you know, and I don't think he was just a side character tossed off just like that. Overall, a really cool episode. I'm interested in the world building already, and the characters don't seem too bad either. So if you guys want to check out episode 2, go over to my Patreon right now and go and check out the Soul tier. The Soul tier has episode 2 already ready and available with no watermarks, no ads, none of that. And the Ascended tier has the episodes past that. So thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like. Tell me what you thought. I'm still pretty new at doing reactions, so I'm still getting used to it and getting comfortable with doing it. So let me know if there's anything I can do better. Tell me what you think. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.